Yeah, well, hello. Welcome back to the grind on the, what's that, 1976 BMW 2002. E10 is the body designation on it. Now, that's up there. I brought the motor over and we've got it, disassembled quite a bit. So we got the, what did I do? Got all the head off, which is sitting there, got the pistons out, got the crankshaft out, got the timing gear out and the chain and everything like that. And all the parts are disassembled on the motor. And it's in not bad shape. There is and then I honed the cylinders. They're pretty good. They're not perfect, but they're pretty good. I'm not gonna, as long as they measure out okay, which will happen next week, then I'll be happy with them. We'll just see what happens after I measure them out. This stuff here is the crankshaft, and I've measured the big end journals for the pistons, and they're all seem to be okay for size wise. I haven't measured the journals for the crankshaft yet because I ordered a tool to be able to do that with, a micrometer to be able to do that with, and it's coming on Tuesday, so that'll be when that happens. What day is it today? It might be Friday today, I'm not sure. Okay, so all apart and getting it worked on, but I ran out, I've used up about an hour worth of YouTube time, which I'm pretty sure is more than enough for you. And I'll come back to it next. This part here is all apart. That part's all apart. I have to take next week. I'll take the head apart and clean it up and get the valves cleaned up and things like that. And then likely start reassembling it. We'll just see how it goes. But anyway, if you stick around, you see everything that happened. And it's quite a journey inside these motors. But they're nice little motors and, reasonably easy to work on. So, okay. That's all for this one. See you later. Yeah, so here I am finally down to the motor, right? Start putting mechanical stuff together. Well, I've been working on mechanical stuff with the brakes and the rear suspension and front suspension. So yeah, we've been on mechanical stuff. I'll pull the plugs on this thing here and then put some oil down it and see if it runs. So this is 18M75. So I think that's 1.8 1.8, whatever you call that, M for M motors, I guess, BMW, 75, I think it was 1975 it was made. Not really sure I think that's what it means, but who knows. Here's a 112552223. I wonder if that's the same as the serial number. Hang on. Yeah, there's the serial number, 2391128. Anyway, I'll just stick that. That'll go back on the car eventually. Just gets pop riveted on. Okay, a little bit of an internet search, and you get to clean off this. That thing there was covered in 50 years of rust, right? But same number as the car number, 2391128, and I think that 2.0 is 20. It means a 2.0 2 liter. Don't know. Maybe not. Anyway, we'll just get the plugs out and see what goes on next. Where is it? Right here? Yep. Okay, let's see if the plugs come out of it. Yeah, one loose. Two loose. Three loose. So that says that the motor is the same, the one that came in the car. It's original to the car. Cool. Which, is not always guaranteed with these things, right? Old 50-year-old cars. But then, there's a good and bad to that. Likely it's never been touched. Let's just see. Maybe or maybe hasn't been touched. Oh yeah, and the plugs are in decent shape. That one is anyhow. The previous owner said that he drove it into his shop, so like it was running when he got it. Obviously, it wasn't running when it came here. Then he took it all apart. There's plug number 2, clean. Likely don't even need new plugs, but I've got new plugs for it on 2, just in case. In case anybody needs a set of plugs for a BMW, I got a spare set. Got a spare set of wires too, and what else? I've got spare brake lines, a couple of them. Good to have spare stuff. Put it in my hoard. Number 3, I'm fairly sure that the motor is fine. Well, it'll turn fine anyhow. We'll just find out real soon whether it turns fine or not. Yeah, a little bit of dirt on there, but not bad. Okay, now hang on, I'm gonna get the next step here. Yeah, so I've got some of this fluid film stuff. Rust's worst enemy. Tack-free lubrication. Simply the best since 1943. Now, isn't that something? I never knew it was simply the best. And I'll just pour a bunch. Let that soak in for about 5 minutes, then I'll give the motor a turn. Okay, see what happens here. I think it'll turn. Oh yeah. Easy as pie. But there is some spots where it doesn't, like it's a little bit tight in a couple of spots, so that's all right. Cool. Okay, I'll find top dead center. Hang on. Yeah, there. So that's nice and clean in there, and the timing chain actually looks all right too. But what the hell? This is the oiler. This lobe here is for the fuel pump, which goes right here. That's supposed to have a shaft. I don't know where that shaft is, whether it's here or there or anywhere else. I don't know. We'll find out. Let's see if I can find it in all the buckets of stuff. And maybe it's with the fuel pump. Maybe it's part of the fuel pump. Who knows? I think fuel pump goes there. And otherwise, the like all the cam lobes look, what I can see, they look okay. And I don't see any untoward wear. Let me turn it over here and have a look here. Like that looks really good. Okay, that's number 1, looks really good. Number 2, like the back side of the cam isn't even worn anyway, a bit. Number 2 looks okay. That's nice and clean, right? Oh, I might have a fairly good motor here if I'm lucky. And number 4, everything looks good. So if number 4 is open for, that's intake on that side and exhaust on this side. Number 4. Number 1 is opening on the exhaust stroke, so it must have just fired, right? So it's pretty close to top dead center right here. I'll just, hang on, I'll just, what'll I do? I'll put a screwdriver down in here and turn it till I feel it coming up to the top, and then I'll see if I can find the top dead center mark on here and mark it. Okay, yeah, there's top dead center mark right there. There's little notch in the pulley on both sides there. So that's good. And then this is a pointer for it right here from, and then I don't know what goes on there. It might be a scale or something goes on there. Anyhow, now next is, let's see about getting the timing cover off. Yeah, the top of the timing cover comes off here. Then I can get the head off. and we'll see where we go from there. Interesting. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts that hold this together. 10 millimeter. It's a 10 millimeter engine, right? That looks all right. That's the key for it right there. It goes in there. Cool. I don't know what that is. Yeah, it's all ready to drain the oil, but no oil in it, so that's fine. A little bit of oil right there. That's in this thing here that pressures up the chain tensioner. Anyway, I think next step is to get the head off. I was thinking about taking this off first, but I think I'll leave that bit on there for now. So now, taking the head off, I think there is a sequence likely start here. That one, 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 that one is likely the sequence, but we'll just see. See how this works out. First look, looks pretty clean. Like those two are burning nice and clean. That one there might be a bit rich and that one might be a bit rich, but we're okay with that. There's absolutely no ridge in that piston. Oh boy, I think I got a good motor. That's all right. Okay, now, that used to be the oil pump right here, eh? And that's where the oil filter goes. With that glove covering it, I guess I can put that away. Okay, that's heartening, and it looks like the valves are all okay. So I'll get that head apart. Now, and it looks like there's no leaking between the cylinders, like you'd see that on the head gasket, right? Cool. I think we got a winner. We'll find out as it gets deeper into it. I'll just put the head over. I think I can clean this up and it'll be fine. It might have been rebuilt not long ago. Yeah, never know. Have a quick look down the cylinders here. Get my light. There's my light. Plugged in, of course. Hang on. Okay. I can only look at these two cylinders to start with because the no rust or anything on them. The what was I trying to say? That timing chain there, if I could lift it up and let it turn, but I don't want to turn maybe turn them over just to see the other side, because that's smooth, like there's no ridge or anything there, hardly any wear on it. My. And there's no play in the cylinders. Hang on, I'll bring the other two to the top. All I have to do is, I'll show you. Hold this up like this while I turn the motor over. Hang on. Wonder where my thing for turning the motor is. Find out. Here it is. So, only got two hands for this, right? There. Camera and chain in one hand. There, that's bottom dead center, hey? Hang on, I'll get the light again. Number 1 and number 4, no ridge line or anything like that. No play. A little tiny bit of play in that one, but nothing serious. And they're clean. I wonder if I can find a marking on them, whether they say they're oversized or something. We'll find out. I'll clean off those two and just have a look. Yeah, so there's an arrow pointing towards the front, right? This says F10 right there. I think that's a 0 here. And then 88.97. Is that 88.97 millimeters? I'll just check with my thing. Yeah, so that's 88.97 is either the piston size or the bore size, one of the two. I'll check that out after. I could check that out right now. Hang on. I have this thing here and that thing there. So you put this down the bore and let it settle in there, and then measure it with this, and it comes out to 89.02 for the bore size on the cylinder number 1. I'll do a more serious check, like a check all the way through and around and about. See what this one is. And then this one is the bore size is 88.92494. Yeah, 88.94. 88.97. So, you know, it's likely pretty darn close. Okay, that's pretty darn close to what it's supposed to be. We'll just keep on going. I'll take the oil pan off. Here we go. Pretty easy on this one. Don't know what that is, but it's something. Everything in here is pretty clean, right? No play, no play, no play, no play. Guess I have to take that off. That's the drive. Oh, that's the drive for the oil pump. Okay. So it's got two chains. It's got one chain for the overhead cam and another chain for the oil pump. Now somehow I knew that. So I'll maybe get those two new chains. This must be like a pressure release valve or some sort. That held there, that held there. So I wonder if I can get that. I'll get that cleaned up. All looks nice. All looks really nice. Huh. There you go. It's kind of a pretty motor. This comes off to get the crank out. Okay, well let's take a couple of these things apart. Like if I take these caps off here and check the crank bearings, whether they need changing or not, but well, we'll just see. This has to come off to get the crankshaft out, and also to get those chains off there. So, yep, we'll get that off soon. I'm just kind of curious about how the bearings are. I'll just check this bearing right here, just for fun. So, just checking the end play on the crankshaft. That's hanging around about 0. Yeah, it's on 0. So 0 there, and 9/1000 of an inch. Now I'll have to figure that out in millimeters, because I'm pretty sure, well, I'll see what the book says. So end plate on the crankshaft is 9/1000 of an inch. I'm just going to check and see what it's supposed to be. Okay, so it's got, here's all the data stuff, right? Pistons, aluminum crown, aluminum dome, aluminum recessed crown. I wonder what that means, but anyhow, I've got graded C, 88.98 millimeters, which is what's in this one. So that's standard size. So I'll get, and it feels okay, so we'll just check it out. And then connecting rod, big end, crankshaft end float. This is a 2002. 003 to 006, and I've got 008. So I'm 2,000 over. But that's just a matter of getting the proper thrust washer in there. Somewhere in here there's a thrust washer. I'll figure it out as I go, and you might have to get another one put in there, but so far I'm fairly happy. Now, that's not exact, that's not exact, but it's pretty close. Anyhow, now I'll go ahead and just pull that that connecting rod off of there just for fun. So I'm measuring this play also, so I'll just set it up differently and try again and see. Pretty darn clean. Like a couple of score marks on there, but nothing serious, and there are no scores. You can't, no fingernail catchers anyhow. A little bit of a fingernail catcher right there, but I don't think that's a serious problem. So now I'll take off this and see what size that is. Hang on. Yeah, so there's the bearing. It's in good shape, really good shape. And it's a standard, it says right there, STD, standard. So, either standard or a sexually transmitted disease. I think it's standard. So standard bearings on the rods need like a little bit of a thrust washer, like the spacer to make this thing so it's the right end play. Not sure about that yet. I might have to read the book and find out. But I think I'll leave it there for today. That's actually come along all right. Doesn't take long to take them apart. So now, camshaft all looks really nice over here. I can't see any issues at all with the camshaft. I'll take apart somehow. I'll pull the valves out and pull the camshaft out, and then I'll be able to clean up the valves, right? So we'll get that. That'll be the hardest part of this job. Well, we'll never know. We're not there yet. I could take this piston out of here fairly easily. It's got to come out eventually anyhow. Hang on, I'll just get the piston out. There's piston number 4. A little bit of scoring on it, but not excessive or anything. So we'll put that back into use. And got to clean up here at the top end of it. You can see where it was sitting with a little bit of rust on it, so it's a good thing I'm taking it apart. Anyhow, but all the rings, that top ring is seized in there. The second ring's okay. Top ring's either seized or broken. I'll check into that. Isn't that something? So, really good thing I took it apart. Okay, we'll carry on with it after. Like, I'll get the rest of the pistons out, and then I'll get the crankshaft out. Yeah, somehow or other we'll get it all apart, and then clean it up and put it back together with some new bits in it. Okay, that's all for today. See you later. Okay, new day. Here I am. I've got that number 4 piston out, and I put a piece of tape around it with number 4 on it, so I know what it is later. Then I'll do the same with the others. For next, I want to just see about getting this oil pump off of here. I'm not really sure. Well, maybe I'll take this off first. Take this cover off. There's a couple of bolts missing here. That's interesting. Don't know why, but I imagine we'll put new ones in when we get there. And so I'll see about getting this off of here. I'll use an impact wrench on that, and that might break that free. Then see about getting it pulled off somehow. That came off most easily enough. And there's the key in there and the seal. So I'll pull this panel off the front. This was, I've got a puller set here. I used that kind of business there. Just fit just enough, and it wasn't too tough to pull off. So there you have it. Yeah, so here's the timing chain tensioner, and it hooks into this thing right here. I'll figure that out later when I want to put it back together. I'm pretty sure I know how it works. It's got a spring in there, a tensioner to likely has some oil to make it hydraulic. Anyway, they've got clippy things here, clippy thing, clippy thing, clippy thing. Then those guides will come off, and I can likely just pull the chain out right now. Maybe not. Yeah, I can pull the chain out. I'll pull the chain out and put it over in here, and then see about getting this one off too. But I'll get all that stuff off there. Yeah, there's the oil pump drive and chain, and it looks absolutely fine. It doesn't even, like, there's no, if the chain was worn it would bend, but it doesn't even bend. Same thing with the I got the this chain here out, and like it doesn't, when you hold it up like that, it just doesn't bend. So usually, like, if there's a problem with the chain, it'll bend, right? No problem with that chain. That's a good chain. And it's only lasted like 50 years. I don't know whether it's ever been replaced or not, but it might be fairly new. But I think we'll just, no point in replacing that if it's brand, like if it's good. And then this sprocket is fine. It's not, there's no, like, it's not all pointy. It's, you know, they've got points, but it's not all pointy, like wore out pointy. So I think that's fine. So all those chains and sprockets are okay. And on this end of it here, like, there's no trouble with that sprocket there. Don't know if I can get that out of there or not. Don't know if yeah, I'll likely have to eventually, but I'll worry about that when I get the crank out of it. So this bolt here has to come off to enable getting that pipe out of there, and that and those two to get the oil pump. And the oil pump feels good. Don't know what this does. Well, excuse me. Anyway, but I'll get that stuff off next, and we'll carry on. Yeah, there's the oil pump and the strainer, and that's exceptionally clean for being in a motor for 50 years, which I think hasn't really happened. I think it has been less than 50 years since this motor was apart. So I'll just put it there. I'll take that apart after and check it out. This thing here is just the mount for it. Pull that off. Then I'll see about getting this plate off the back of it here, if I can. Maybe I might should have done that before I put it on the stand, but we'll be able to figure it out. Yeah, I can get a socket and a ratchet in there. Okay, so I'll get the rest of that apart and then get this back plate off. Then I can likely pull all the pistons, pull all the cylinders, pull all the pistons, pull all the pistons. and then have a good look at the block. Okay. Yeah, so this little piece of strip of steel goes underneath here like that, and it was bent up. It must have got caught on something. So it was, where am I pointing? This was all bent, so I just straightened it out on the anvil a little bit. It's still, like, you can see where it was rippled. But this end here has to create a seal around that hole there. And then this one here has got an O-ring on it into the oil pump. So I'll just be careful with this because I think it's delicate. Yeah, so there's that bit off the back of the motor here. It fits onto these, like, what do you call them? That's like sleeves that hold it into the right spot, eh? And we used a rubber hammer just to tap it on out of there. The seal looks still good, but I have a new seal, I hope. Anyway, that goes over in this pile here for now. And the bolts and stuff are in that pile there. Right. In with all this stuff. Anyway, now carry on. Yeah, there, look at that. That bearing, this is piston number 1. That bearing is brand new, and the rings all look good. Everything is pretty. There's number 3. There's number 4. Now I'll set up the camera here and I'll show you how I get the number 2 out of there. See if this will hold right here somewhere. So there it is at the top here, right? And I've got it loosened off, and what I did was I just backed off the nuts until they were flush, and then I gave it a little tap with the hammer to break that free. Now to get the cap off, I just take these nuts off of here. With the wooden part of the hammer, right? This one's got some scoring on it. Don't know what happened there, but it's got some scoring on it. Hopefully it's not on the... it looks like the... must have been some dirt in there. Come in somehow or other. Looks like it's right on the edge of where the hole is here for the oil. That's the only one bad, but that one's exceptionally bad. It's got really good scoring on it. I guess a good idea to take it all apart. Now this one here, whoops, now I'll just turn the motor over by hand until it pushes that piston down to the bottom, to the top of its run. Then I just put my other hand underneath here, give it a tap with the wooden part of the hammer, and out it comes just like that. There it is, and that one, yeah, scored badly. Don't know why. Number 2 has got problems. So I'll put then I put them back together so it goes this way. All the numbering is on the one side, and the little tab there, that little tab, you can see the witness mark where it was over here, and the tab is opposite this tab here, like that. Then I take a piece of masking tape, This one here will be number 2, but you know, you'll never doubt what it is because it's scored up. Mark number 2. I can't see any marking on the crank for number 2, so I think we're okay. Just got the bearing got scored, but I'll take a good look at it and check it out. Then now I'll see about getting the these bearings, the crank bearings out, and then I don't know how you. There's that one. There's no marking on them anywhere that says what number they are that I can tell. I'll take a good close look at them and see later when I get one off. Yeah, so if you squint just right, you can see the numbers on here. So I've got, see that number 2 there now? I happen to have a set of these things here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a 0. So I've put a 1 there, put a 2 here, put a 3 right on top of that, put a 4 here, and put a 5 here. I put 2 4s in this because this one here I put it in wrong. Anyway, and so the way I've got it marked, number 1, I should put a dot to one side, or I don't know. How do I make it so I know what side they go to? I'll take it apart and see. Might be a signifier somewhere on it. I don't know. Because they've got to go one way or the other. Imagine you can tell from the bottom because of the way that the bearings will sit in there. So I'll pull one off and have a look. Yeah, there's some, that's bearings getting to be well used, but for the most part the crank itself feels okay. There's no fingernail catchers on it. I'll do all the measurements. I'll measure these things up, and it seems that the way they sit on there, see that indent there to hold the bearing, so it's the same on each side, like they both go to the one side. Now on those ones over there on the end of the big ends of the pistons, they went to opposite sides. Don't know why, but how it is, I guess. I'll just keep on, I'll check every one as I go along. But it doesn't seems that this one here fits that way, and it will not fit that way. So a one-way trip for that. Okay, I'll just put that right there. That's got a number 1 on it somewhere. Right there. Okay. I'm just going to line these things up with their bolts and everything on them, right? Like that. Okay, I'll take off. They come off pretty easy. I'll show you. I don't know if I should have started at one spot or not, but that one's tight. Get my hammer out of there. I'll get the breaker bar for that one. Okay. Yeah, so now these are, I've got this, built a table, right? A rolly table for putting the crankshaft on and putting the valves on. This is, I had this out when I built this when I was doing the, what do you call that? Triumph TR7. And I have to just make this a tiny bit longer for this crankshaft. You know, just 1/8 of an inch longer so that it'll fit on more easily. But that's okay. It's pretty good. Now, these all feel pretty good. I'm going to measure them up with them. I've got a micrometer that can measure them. But they all feel nice. And the bearings in here, they're all worn the same amount, and there's none with any like gouges on it. Now I'm gonna make a guess here that I should get that in the right spot. That's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one here goes with that guy right there. Maybe I'll put them all on that table over there so I don't get them mixed up. Okay, I'll do that. Hang on. Okay, there's crankshaft. There's all the journals. As far as I can tell, these are standard size and they're original to the car. They got a BMW stamp on them. But maybe I'll go in and check that. The journals seem to be pretty close to the right size, but I'm having trouble reading my micrometer. It just, micrometers beat me, so I got to take it in and figure out how to read it, and then we'll maybe have an answer. Yeah, and here's the engine block. Let's have a look at these just before I go in. Wait, I'll get a light. You can still see somebody was in there honing them not long ago. So this motor was rebuilt, that's my guess, not that long ago, with new rings and new big end bearings on the bottom there. So likely the head was cleaned up and everything like that, so I'll be likely happy with that. But they didn't replace at that time, they didn't take out the crankshaft and replace the crankshaft bearings, because these are obviously have 1,000,000 miles on them. They've got, you know, they're worn. But they're all worn evenly, so I'm happy with that. And I think that the crank is, you know, I can just put new bearings on it, it'll be fine. But I'm trying to figure out my micrometer so I can measure them. So I'll get that done. Okay. See you tomorrow. Okay, here I am. Where am I? Here I am, right here. Got light and everything. So all these cylinders look like they were, you know, recently honed. Recently in miles, not necessarily in time. That one there's got a couple bit of scoring up and down. So I'm going to hone them again. You know, that's a good thing to do. And then I'll measure them up. I've got a tool coming to measure them properly. And I'll measure them up, see if there's any taper in them and things like that. And one thing, you can put an old ring in there, and any ring, a new ring, and just put it in flat. Measure the gap on the ring at the top, measure the gap in the ring halfway down, measure again the gap on the ring towards the bottom, and that'll tell you if there's taper in the cylinder. And so that's one way to measure it. Anyhow, now I have finally figured out how to use my, where is it? Where is it? Yeah. Finally figured out how to use this micrometer properly, and 1.8908 or something like that was one of them. 1.8884 is another one, and I'll see if I can get that refined a little bit better, and make a piece of paper with all the measurements on it. So there we go. So here's the measurement that I get from these things, right? So this is the, what do they call them? Connecting rod bearings at the big end, right? So you measure this as 1.8 to there, and then these are 25 increments, so 1875, so 1.875, this is inches, plus 0.15 inches, and then you move over to the vernier scale here, and that comes up to 0.007. I don't know if you can read that 7 there. 0.007. So you take your 0.0007, add it on there. Add them all up. Answer is 7 here, right? 5 and 5 is a 0. 7 and 1 is a 8. 8. 1.88. 5 and 5 is a... Oh yeah, this would be a 9 here. 9. 1.8907. 1.8907 is what I measure mostly. And then in here, I got oil all over the place here. It's supposed to be 1.8898. So I've got 1.8907. So bigger than that. So plus 00114 or minus 00114. So let me do some ciphering here. Minus 0.009. Oh, that's in millimeters. So minus 0.00114 to 0.00098 inches. So I think we're okay for size. Like that's bigger than normal size. I'll measure again and maybe I'll get a little bit, like I'll do a bunch of measurements and see if I can come up with, see what comes up. Yeah, okay, then you can see this now. Where's my finger right there? So you measure this part here, the distance between, where's my finger? Right here and right here is 1 inch plus this amount that shows on here. Isn't that a dirty fingernail, eh? Anyhow, this amount that shows on here. Come on, focus. There you are. So that's 8 point. Now, when these things here, these, where is it? Right here. Whoops, sorry. The graduations here is 0.25 of an inch, 0.25 thousandths of an inch. So that's, yeah, there's four graduations between. So that would be 25, 50, 75, 100, right? So you get up to here. I'm at 1.875 is the only number you can reach there to get to there. Plus, so you have 1.875, which is down here, 1.875. Then you add on what this scale here says, this 1011. So plus 0.11. Then you add on what they call the vernier scale, which is like, where am I here? Focus, focus, focus. Come on. There. Hang on. See if I can get this to focus for you. Yeah, so see where that one there lines up? Oh, it doesn't quite. Where am I? Yeah, the one that lines up on the vernier scale is this one right here, which is a 3, a 2 or a 3. I think what originally looked at it was a 2. And that is 0.0002. And so you add them all together and you get, the answer is, the distance is 1.8862 inches. So that's 1 inch, 8/10 of an inch, another 8/100th of an inch. This is thousandths or 10,000, 10th, 100th, thousandths, and 10,000 and decimal of thousands, right? 0.2 of a thousand. Anyway, that's a pretty close measurement. So that's how you get that kind of a measurement. out of this machine. Anyway, there. How's that? Does that help any? I don't know. Yeah, so I'm getting a bunch of measurements here. I got 1.8896. That's what it's on right now. That's how I measured this one here. So I'll measure the rest of them and see if I can see how I come out. Because what I'm doing, I'm not getting this exactly square on the thing. I'll show you what I'm doing now to get it squared on the journal. Wait, I'll put you over here. Oh dear, turn you around. There, that's better. Somewhere around here, right? So to get it squared on the journal, I bring it up against the edge of this here. And then that 1.8898 sort of just fits tight across there, So that one's good. That's 1.8898. It's supposed to be 1.889. No, 1.8896. It's supposed to be 1.8898. So I'm damn close there. And this one, like when you bring it in, it feels, yeah, it comes tight over the edge of it there. And that'd be square because I keep it square on that edge. That one's good. Two of them are good. This one's the same. This one's the same. And then that one's again the same. So I'm pretty happy with those journals all being that measurement that I did. 1.8896, and the book calls for 1.8898. So I'm a little bit smaller, you know, it wears off a little bit, and it's well within tolerance there, I think. Okay, I'm happy with those journals. I've got a tool coming that will measure the big journals, because mine isn't big enough to fit over those. And when that gets here, I'll measure them. But in the meantime, I'm happy that this is about the right size. This number 2, this is number 1. This number 2, which was the one with the deep scratches in it, is it? Where is it? That's this one over here. Number 2, see the deep scratches in there. So I'm pretty, well, I am positive that there was a piece of dirt came through this right here and was scratching on it, because that's where the scratches are sitting right there. So a piece of debris came through here and got stuck there, and it's gone now. Wherever it went to, it's gone. So I've blown out all the channels here with air, and blown out all the channels there with air, and I'll blow out the channels on the I don't think there is any channels on those things, eh? Anyhow, but I'll clean them all up. So I'm happy that I don't think I have to change. There is a wrist pin bushing up in there, but I don't think I have to change that. I think that one's fine. I'll just check them. Hang on until I put you over here. I always have my rubber gloves on until I get oily stuff, eh? Oh. So there shouldn't be any, like there is allowed to be play that way, but there shouldn't be any sideways play on it. And there isn't any sideways play on it that I can tell, no. No, it's good and tight, that. So, and I'll check the rest of them and make sure they're okay. And then we'll go from there with it. Oh, get my rag. Then I'll clean up all these things. There's lots of cleaning to do before anything else happens. But I ordered new rings for it today, standard size rings for this piston, and I ordered new bearings for here, and I ordered new bearings for here on the crankshaft. And then I do have a gasket kit already. I didn't order new chains because I think those chains are fine. There's no wear. I don't know if you can see this all right. There's no wear on these. Like there's absolutely zero wear on these sprockets. I don't know. Maybe they're new. Maybe they were replaced last time somebody was in the motor. So for today, I'll hone out the cylinders. That one, that one, that one, that one. And then I'll start cleaning up the pistons. I'll check the oil. Well, this might be more than I get done today. I'll check the oil pump. The oil pump looks new, so it might be indeed new. And I'll check the oil pump, and then I'll check out, clean up all that stuff there. Right? Okay. Yeah, so I've done that one and that one. Onto this one. And I'm using my, my new, what do you call that thing? This is just multi-purpose oil. My new hone. This one here seems to work. It seems to be tough enough to make it work right. Yeah, so right up at the top here, well, they actually look pretty good, the cylinders. The right at the top, there's this. You can't feel anything, like there's nothing to feel, but you can certainly see where a little bit of corrosion left over there. Now, the rings don't come up that high, so it's not a big deal. But I'll give it another go with the hone, see if I can just concentrate on this upper part here a bit, and see if that'll clean off. But otherwise, they're pretty clean. Like you can see along the edges here, there's some little ridge lines, but you can't, like these little ridges, you can't get your finger won't catch. Well, let me get my glove off. Now, these little ridges, you can't, right down there, you can sort of get your finger to catch on those ones way down there. This one here, yeah, you can get your finger to catch on that one. But, you know, I'm not going to worry about it too much because I'm pretty sure it'll run quite nicely without, like, that'll affect the compression a little bit, but otherwise it'll be fine. It'll be okay. It'll run nicely. So I'll hone it a bit more, see if I can get rid of some of this yucky guck up at the top here. But otherwise, I think we'll call it fairly good. Okay. So, little scratch on that cylinder right there. The other cylinders are all okay. That cylinder there, that's going to be there. That's the way it is. Yeah, so here we are. There's still that little bit of, actually it cleaned it up pretty good. A little tiny bit of residue left on there, and there's residue left on top of each one of these. But there's, like, you can feel a tiny bit of a ridge, but not a, that's the only finger catcher right there. So I think I'll be happy with this. Yep, I think I'll be happy with that indeed. That's all right. So that's cleaned up, ready. I'm going to get this. This is the oil filter thing where the oil filter sits. I'll get that off and we'll clean that up. Next, I think I'll take the oil pump apart because I think it's new. I'm just going to take it apart and check and see how the clearances are on the pump side of it. Yeah, I think this was brand new because it hasn't even got the factory finish worn off it yet. There. And in here, So I think you're supposed to, I'll just check and see what the tolerances are on those things there, the lobes. But it doesn't look, it looks like there's no gap at all happening. So I think I can safely put this back together and just let it be, because I don't think it's far from the new store. Anyway, oil comes into one of these lobes, and then as it pushes around, see, it fills that lobe right there. Then this pushes around, and that pushes the oil out onto that right there, onto this side. So it comes in on this side here, from here, in the oil pan, sucks it in, and then turns and pushes it out right there. You see that? You can see behind there, there's a hole there. Okay, that seems all right. I'll get the book out and see if there's any tolerance for that. Yeah, two types of oil pumps, of course. Gear type oil pump, which I was checking these numbers, I couldn't get anywhere near. Rotor type oil pump, which is what I have there. So clearance outer rotor to the housing 0020, or what, 0.05 to 0.2 millimeters. That's quite a bit of distance there, but I've checked it out, and this one here will slide in there, and that's 13.13 millimeters, so that's well within the tolerance. Now, rotor tip clearance, which I think is rotor to housing flange clearance. What's that mean? Yeah, rotor tip clearance 0.09 to 0.27 millimeters. So let me just see if I can figure out where that goes. So I think that's the rotor tip clearance right there. This is good. This one here is just right at the high limit. I put a little, I cut apart a, what do you call it? I cut apart one of these so it'll slide in there. Anyway, that's right at 0.27 millimeters. 0.027 or, yeah, 0.27 millimeters. And then rotor housing flange clearance, that's 0.034 to 0.084 millimeters. So I'll check that. So the clearance between this housing and that should be 0.8 of a millimeter, give or take a bit. See what happens here. Yeah, that's a good tight fit there. So it's 0.03, so I'll put 0.05 underneath there. .8 is the top limit, and 0.03 is a small limit, but I don't have a 0.03. The closest I've got is a 0.05, and that just slides. So what's next? I think I have a 6 or a 4 or something. Five. Now I've got 5 and I've got 8. I don't have anything else. So that 8 was tight, eh? Yeah. So it's somewhere between 5 and 8, which is fine. In fact, 5 sort of slid in there close to right. So this might be a little bit at the edge of its limit. This one here is good. The distance off the flange is good. So I'm going to call that pump okay. Then when it's running in the car, it should have, at idling, should be 11 to 17 psi, and at 4,000 RPM it should be 57 psi. So I'll just check that, and it's got a pressure relief valve on it over there, so I'll make sure that there's a spring in the pressure relief valve. I can pull that right out there and knock it on the floor. Oh dear. Clean that. I'll clean that up, and I have to check the length of the spring. So pressure valve spring free length 2.68 millimeters, and that's exactly what that is. So that's off of the gear type oil pump. Anyway, it doesn't say anything about. It doesn't say anything about it here. That's the only mention of the spring is over here at the gear type. So that's. Yeah, so that thing goes back together that way. There's an O-ring in here. Did I say that spring is right on exactly the right amount of springiness? Like it's exactly what the thing calls for. What's going on now? I'll get this through here. It's a two-handed job, I guess. Hang on. I guess it's not brand new, but it's in reasonably good shape, and I'll let it be. I just put it all back together the way it was, and I should check and see if it turns, eh? Hang on, I'll just do that. Yeah, it turns fine. Feels good. There's no end play on it, so it's good. Okay, now I'm happy with that. So, and as we go along, we'll check out the like the oil pressure should be 57 when it's high, and 11 to 17 when it's idling. That'll be good. Okay, now it's 5 o'clock, so it's about quitting time already. So what did I get done? I got this cleaned up, yeah. These are all looking good. Tomorrow I'll tackle that stuff there. Oil pump I'm happy with. I'll clean this stuff up tomorrow too. There's this is a tensioner. This part here is a tensioner for the timing chain, so I'll take a look at that also. Okay, here I am, just finishing up with the vernier scale there. Now, oil pump is over here. I'm okay with it. So, got some help here, right? All this stuff is apart, right? The whole motor's all apart, and I've used up quite a bit of YouTube time. I'm pretty sure if I tried to put any more into here, you'd get pretty bored. You're likely bored already. So what I do, I cleaned this stuff up, got the pistons out, got the head off, got the crankshaft out, and everything goes along with it. So I'm going to cut this one off here, and I hope you enjoyed it all. And we'll get back to next week. I'll get onto the head, cleaning up the head and the valves and everything like that. And, and doing cleaning work on that. Clean. So that stuff there is going to just sit the way it is until I get more information and some parts coming. And that'll be that. Okay. See you later. Not a great place to hang around, little guy. There's a cat over there and a dog over there. I'll get them out of the way.